Hello and welcome to my channel CaitMakes, the channel where I make things. Today I'm making a dream project of mine, an Elizabeth Bennet inspired dress. Specifically from the 2005 film adaptation with Keira Knightley. I am not alone in being obsessed with this movie. Basically, it comes out in 2005 and I proceed to watch it every year for the rest of my life. Needless to say, every dress she wears in this film is imprinted on my brain. The specific dress that's inspiring today's project is this one here. It is worn at a very pivotal part of the movie. It's her first trip to Pemberly house. And the scenery, the dress, the moment, everything about it, I absolutely love. One of my favorite parts of the movie. So naturally, I would love to have this dress for myself. I would love to put myself in this little scene here. So that's what I'm going to do. That being said, I am not replicating this dress. I am not making a costume. I am making a dress inspired by this. Inspired being the key word here. So I'm going to be making some tweaks, some edits, putting my own flair on it, making a dress that I feel comfortable wearing in 2024, but that still is very reminiscent of this dress and is inspired by it. I hope that when I wear my version, I will feel internally like Elizabeth Bennet, and that maybe, you know, true fans will be able to tell that I'm wearing a dress inspired by this one. But again, not an exact replica. If that's the kind of video you're looking for, sorry, that's not this one. But if you'd like to see me create a dress inspired by this one, and if you want an excuse to think about Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy for a little bit today, you're in the right place. So stick around and let's see how this turns out. First, let's talk a little bit about the fabric. I recently took a trip to Utah and went to the cutest local fabric shop and found this fabric, which reminds me very much of this dress. Do we see the inspiration here? So I did a little poll on my Instagram. Make sure to follow me there as well if you want to, you know, be involved in these kind of polls, get some behind the scene looks, things like that. I would love to have you there. But I did this poll here and I was really surprised by how many people responded and how many people also immediately thought it reminded them of the Pride and Prejudice dress that I was thinking of, which encouraged me to then post this poll. And granted, it's not 100%, but it did encourage me to go ahead and try and make this dress. Also, I wanted to, so I was going to do it either way, but I'm glad that other people were also excited about it. So thank you to anyone who contributed to those polls. I hope that you love the end result. I'm very excited to see it myself. So to take a slightly closer look at the fabric, I just want to show you it has a really unique vintage look to it, and it's actually a really light lavender color. It looks off-white, it could look off-white and gray, but the stripes themselves are a darker lavender and the fabric is a like off-white lavender color. Super unique, and the texture of it just looks vintage. So I was super excited when I found this. I think that it will give the finished result a really vintage look. And now let's get to sketching this out. I want to show you my plan for my version of this dress. Let's get into it. So the first big change I'm going to make is the bodice shape. I want to do a princess seam bodice instead of the wrap style. I know that this is going to look different, but I just think I'm going to wear it a lot more. I'm a lot more comfortable in that style bodice. I think it's a lot more flattering on me. And yeah, I want to make sure that I'm going to wear this a lot. I'm going to be keeping the long sleeves, the belt of the original one, and then the full length skirt. For the sleeves, I want to do a fun tie detail on the wrists. I just think that that will give it an extra fun girly look. And then here I just want to show you kind of the style lines of what this is going to look like. I want to be really intentional about where I place the lines of this, so you can see kind of the direction that I want to go. In the back, I'm also going to have them be at a diagonal. And I think I do want to try to do a bit of a tiered skirt at the bottom just to add a little extra flounce if I can. It just makes things more fun to twirl in and walk around in. Another idea I have is to do some frills at the top and along the shoulder. Some of her other dresses have this detail, and I think that that could be really pretty and kind of nod to those other dresses as well. So yeah, this is the Lizzie inspired dress. I hope you like the general plan for it. Because the fabric is so similar to the original, I think I can get a little brave with my other details. We'll see if I regret that later on, but this is my general plan. I think that this is going to be a really pretty design that I'm going to want to wear all the time, and that's going to remind me of the original dress. So there's the plan. Now let's get into making it. So I've skipped ahead a little bit. I have cut out all my main fabric. I did buy 3 yards of this fabric. Turns out it's barely enough to do what I wanted to do. So I have the bodice put together, just the outer fabric. I haven't done my lining yet. This bodice I have done many times on this channel. If you want a more in-depth one, you can refer to one of my other videos. Like my birthday dress video would be the best one. I'll try and link that here. This is the Isola dress bodice pattern. It's great. It's just princess seam, regular bodice. I didn't do interfacing or anything on this one. I really just wanted to be super comfortable and natural looking. So just leaving it as the regular fabric. Then I'm going to do a white cotton as the lining because that's what I have. So yeah, I have the bodice all put together, and then I cut out a long strip of fabric to do the waistband. I wanted to do the diagonal lines like in the original dress, but I wanted to have it still kind of continue those like flattering lines. So I decided to have a middle seam on the belt, and that makes it so that it's not like diagonals all going one way, which I don't think is super flattering. So I have them going 2 separate ways instead. So it kind of, all these lines end up going like in towards the waist and then kind of out towards the hip, which I think will be nice. It's a fun little detail either way, I think. I did interface the waistband just because I think that'll be a nice spot to have a little extra structure. This is my first time working with stripes, and they definitely add a little extra need for finesse, little extra care, deciding, you know, where everything should lay, and then also even just putting the seams together to try and get everything to match up. I redid quite a few of these seams multiple times. We're going with the good enough method for this, but I am really happy so far with how it's looking. I'm really glad that I decided to kind of play around with the lines and to make them a little more interesting than just being like up and down. I'm going to keep putting the bodice together here. I think this is a pretty straightforward part. The sleeve portion is definitely going to be the part where I am unsure what I'm doing, and will probably bring you along for my thought process so that you know how I get there as well. But yeah, I'm gonna keep sewing and I will catch back up with you. Side note, this is my first project where I have my new sewing cushions that I made in my last video, and it's amazing. I absolutely love these. Not a very popular video. I think it's pretty old news for most of the sewing world, but they're making a huge difference for my experience, and it just makes me so happy having this little cute thing on my wrist. So anyway, just an update that I'm very happy that I made them and that they are extremely helpful and functional. Okay, this is where we're at right now. I am about to sew on the lining to the outer, and I just wanted to check the strap length, and I think we are good. So this is the gist so far, so you can get an idea. The straps are just going to serve as like a base to attach the puff sleeves onto. I think it just adds kind of like an extra little bit of detail on there. So yeah, feeling good about it so far. I'm going to go ahead and sew this lining on and the straps. Wish me luck. Okay, we have one sleeve attached, and I'm very excited about it. They are much poofier than hers are. I'm like considering slimming them down some, but I just love a puffy sleeve. I might slim it a little bit. Like right now it's a pretty boxy shape. I actually hacked the confetti frock bubble sleeve from Lizzie and Naomi. I extended the length. I put the scrunchie around my wrist so I could kind of see what it was going to look like. Yeah, I think I'll slim it a little bit, but not a lot. I think I'm going to keep the puffiness because it's fun. I gotta put on the other one, and then yeah, I had to grab some tea because I need some more energy to get through the rest of this dress. And it wouldn't be making a British novel inspired dress without British tea. Anywho, very excited to keep moving on this. Still mulling and deciding if I want to add those like frills at the top like I had thought about doing. It's really just me wrestling with how much I want it to look similar to her dress and how much I just want to do whatever the heck I feel like to it. So we shall see. I started gathering the skirt panels because I'm just approaching this very ADD at the moment. I don't know, I put one sleeve like halfway on and then I was like, okay, now the skirt. So that's sort of what it's going to look like. I really wanted this to be a tiered skirt, however, I did not have enough fabric. So it's just going to be a gathered skirt. And then the only bit of fabric that I have left after all of these pieces, which doesn't yet include the pocket pieces that I'm wanting to add, is this. You know what, I should take off this silliness. The only strip of fabric I have left is this one, which is fairly long. It's not long enough for it to be a gathered tier. Also out of this, which is the most important part, is I need 2 fairly long strips that I'm going to use as the cuff of the sleeve. It's really a tie that's functioning as a cuff, and that's how I'm going to be closing off the sleeve, is it's going to have that bow detail that I had in my original drawing. I need those 2 strips out of here as well. Gosh, this fabric has a lot to do. I'm going to keep working on what I absolutely have and what I can make happen. Go from there. All right, both sleeves are sewn on, and now I'm going to understitch the lining material of the bodice. It's slipping up a little bit and I forgot to do it earlier, so.
It was unconsciously done.
Is this your time?
Yes, sir.
Are you laughing at me?
Okay, going to be doing some late night sewing, which I haven't done in a while. I have both sleeves on. I did decide to taper off the sleeve a little bit just to make it a bit more narrow, a little less wide and poofy. Still going to be poofier than her sleeves, but like I said, I like puffy sleeves. To say it again, I'm creating my dream version and not doing a recreation. Now, my next little project, I'm going to be doing a cuff, and I'm going to be cinching the bottom of the sleeve onto the top of this. Okay, I'm going to, knock on wood, say that this is the final day of this project. To make the tie cuffs, first I have to do a rolled hem on this sleeve because there is going to be a section of it that isn't attached to the tie and it just sits loose, so it needs to be finished off well. Next, I'm going to gather each end of the cuff strip here. And basically what I did to make this part happen is, here's my second tie. I just folded the loose ends under so that this is still open. And then I'm just putting it into the strap. Yeah, then it creates this, what I think is a very pretty little gathered cuff tie detail. And then I just did one stitch at the end here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to this other side and then create the second cuff with all these pieces. And now I just need to sew the cuff on with the ties attached. I gathered the sleeve and then I left this gap here. I'll end up cutting this gather stitch once I've sewn this on, and so there'll just be a gap for me to tie, just like I did on this side. So yeah, there's just that gap in between that scrunches up when you tie it. That gives me a little extra wiggle room if I need it. And yeah, worked great on the first side, so doing the same on the second. It's a miracle. It worked and I'm really happy with it actually. Ooh, yay. I'm at the I really want this to be done point, but almost there. All right, here we go. I think I'm really close. So right now I just went ahead and ironed my lining skirt. and I pinned it on to the bodice, and now I'm going to go ahead and sew this on. I want to go ahead and sew the outer skirt on as well, just to get it looking like a dress here. I really want to get to that final stage. All right, I am at the final step here. I just need to do the hem of the inner and outer skirt, and then it is complete. It fits great. I'm so excited about it. Making a dress inspired by one of my favorite romance movies has sent me on a romance movie spiral. I have watched Pride and Prejudice, Titanic, and The Notebook. So fair warning, if you decide to do something similar, might send you down a romantic movie rabbit hole. What can you do? So excited to get this completely finished. I think it might be my new favorite thing that I've made. Oh, it's so hard. Every time I make something, I feel like it becomes my new favorite. But yeah, this one's definitely high up on the list. Can't wait to show you. I'm going to hem the skirt, and then it'll be time for the reveal. Hope you like it. As you just saw, here is the final result. I'm very, very pleased with it. I knew by deciding not to do a crisscross front that obviously was going to make it look very different already. And then adding the bows is also a bit extra for what Pride and Prejudice dresses look like. I think it's still really reminiscent of the original one, but definitely my own. I would absolutely love to stroll through Pemberley House in this dress. Really, my only regret with this is that I didn't have more fabric. As you saw, it's not a full-length dress. I just didn't have enough fabric to make it go all the way to the floor. That's okay. I did decide not to do the extra like frills that I had in my original design. Again, just because I didn't have enough fabric. I did see how it would look with like some ribbon and stuff that I had, but I thought it took away from the dress overall more so than added, and I thought it made it look even less like the original than this one did. Comment down below, let me know if you think that it's reminiscent enough of the first one that if you saw me out in public you would think, hey, that kind of reminds me of that Pride and Prejudice dress, or if I went a little too far on my own style. Either way, I'm super happy with it, but I'm curious to know your guys' opinions. I am going to get so much wear out of this. I can't tell you how comfortable this dress is. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. That makes a huge difference to me. I'm still a fairly new channel, and those things help support me so much to be able to make more videos and spend more time with you guys and creating more fun things. So I hope this inspires you to pick a dress that you have loved forever from film or TV and try and make it yourself, or make your own version like I did. This was such a fun project for me, and I absolutely love having that piece of one of my favorite films and one of my favorite books to wear on a daily basis. So yeah, make sure that you're making things that bring you joy and happiness also. I hope that you liked coming along with me. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys soon in my next video. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon. Bye.